So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Roma Theory. Today's topic is Gini Wijnaldum. Why is today's topic Gini Wijnaldum? Where it's pretty simple. In these last couple of days, we have heard a lot from himself and from the media because a few days ago he actually posted a short video on Instagram actually speaking about his injury, how he's dealing, thanks for all the support and that kind of stuff. And it was, the first time that we actually heard him speak after his injury, because he's been very silent despite this injury, and the only words he said regards to this injury were in fact 2 days ago. And today there's a picture of him, in fact, going to rehab. And unfortunately, he still has a leg brace on, it sucks. And it really puts to mind that it's a tough injury, to deal with. It's a tough. I think what's even more gutting for him is not the dynamics of the injury, but it's the circumstances in where he got injured. Because you are buzzing to start this new adventure. You pushed and you were a big part of the deal, because he was the one who actually started, lowering his wages and all of that to try and help Roma buy him. And then after 2 weeks of him starting, after in fact a few days of him debuting against Salernitana and having actually a good impact in that match in the last 10 minutes, he got injured, obviously with Felix tackling him. It's gutting because he still has a leg brace on, but obviously, for people who don't remember, he decided for the rehab path and said no to surgery. Now, obviously, surgery would have potentially sped up things, but it would have been way more painful in a way that if anything got wrong when it comes to the surgery, then it would have been even worse than what he's now. But I think the key word for Gini right now is time. And however, with him being injured, Roma are still thinking about objectives for Gini Wijnaldum. They are, putting some objectives for him to try and get back on a football pitch and bring that experience which he loves to bring that talent which he loves to bring those contributions, those goals, which I think it's exactly what we miss from him. I think it's the goals and the contribution that Gini brings to the team is what Roma missed the most right now, as well as obviously some experience to face big matches such as the Juventus game, the Atalanta game, Inter Milan next Saturday. Just imagine all of these matches with Gini on. But yeah, it is what it is. And as I just said, Roma have set some objectives for him. Roma do want to see him back. And I think usually a reason for this is because I think Thiago Pinto, right, is still thinking about potentially buying him back from PSG. Now, obviously, the injury has complicated things way more, because if, like, before his injury, we were convinced of buying him back even before the season, right now it makes things even harder, because I'm really not too sure, even if he starts performing well towards the last few months which he will play, if we will buy him back. That's the real question. And one of the reasons why we want him back as soon as possible is exactly because for us to buy him permanently from PSG, we need Gini to bring a positive impact. Because if in the months which he plays, in the remaining months which he plays next year in 2023, he doesn't give a big impact to games, because he's still kind of, he's still feeling the injury, the side effects of the injury, then there is no chance that Thiago Pinto will buy him back from PSG, just because he's a player which earns quite a lot of money. And if he does not, if he doesn't perform really well, and if he doesn't give a good impact towards the months, towards the last match that you'll play, then it means that this is an injury which has impacted him and will avoid bringing the real Gini Wijnaldum back on a football pitch. I think it's very early to start thinking about, do we buy him back, do we not buy him back? Because, he's still with a leg brace on. He still needs to have those matches to try and convince Thiago Pinto to buy him back from PSG. But the question about buying him back definitely is now a big question mark in Thiago Pinto's mind. But as I said before, Roma have set some objectives for him. Roma want him back playing a football match after the World Cup, which means, I think, start of February, mid-February, latest end of February, Roma want Gini back on a football pitch. Now that's what Roma want. That isn't 100% confirmed, but that is Roma's objective right now, by speaking with doctors, speaking with rehab doctors, speaking with Wijnaldum himself. They have established a comeback date, and that comeback date is towards the end of February, as I was saying before, towards the mid-February, let's call it, because and also I think it's a good period. It's a good period of the season to have him back, because after the World Cup, players are gonna be knackered. Many players are gonna get injured, and that is where we really need Gini to step in. Obviously, again, the first match which you'll get back playing, we can't expect him to play phenomenally. And this is the same discussion as we were having with Spina. Look at Spina right now. It is taking him so much time to get back from that injury. It will be the same with Gini. So one thing which I don't want to see from Roma fans is, if he doesn't give an impact in the first match he's back, him going, oh, Gini was a waste of money. Because that's wrong, and that's kind of disrespectful to him. Because it's the same. It's a very similar situation to Spina. That's the realistic side of it. But one step which Roma have kind of imposed to Gini Wijnaldum is, when will he get back training with the team? When will he get back training with Jose Mourinho? When will he get back kicking a football? That is one of the first steps which Roma have to consider about Gini Wijnaldum. The first step is not, when do we get him back playing? The first step is, when do we get him back kicking a ball? That is the first step. And again, Roma have established a date to this. Now, in the World Cup, the last game week before the World Cup cracks on, the 6th of November, we've got the derby. And then, if I'm not wrong, we have one more game week after the derby. And then it's the World Cup break, which goes through November, December, and then maybe some of January, I'm not sure. But the Serie A is back towards the end of January, start of February. And obviously, as we said before, we're a very lucky team, because many other players are not going to the World Cup. The only players which are going to the World Cup are Rui Patricio. However, he's a goalkeeper, so he won't be that tired. Tammy is going, but he will not be the first striker. He's got Harry Kane up front. So that, yes, Tammy will play some matches, but Tammy won't play 80% of the tournament. We've got Ibanez most probably going. Again, he's not going to start any match with the defenders Brazil have. And then the only other player we have going is Zalewski, if I'm not wrong, for Poland. Poland, realistically speaking, no offense, but aren't going to go that far. So we're quite a lucky team. I'm thinking of any other players which could go. But overall, our team is mostly Italian based, and Italy aren't going to the World Cup and all of that. So Roma have a lot of players which during the World Cup stage will not play under their national teams. And that has made the Fredkins, Thiago Pinto and Mourinho think about a kind of another summer preseason tour. We did one this summer in Portugal, and apparently it is almost confirmed that towards the end of November we will take part in a pre-half season, let's call it, in Japan, which will be very, very interesting. So yeah, bringing this discussion on. apparently we're still waiting for an official statement from Roma, but apparently Roma will be heading to Japan to train there to prepare for the remaining of the season there, for the second half of the season there, and to play against some Japanese teams and all of that. And this will happen towards the end of November, and it will last for around 1 to 2 weeks. So apparently we've got a Japan tour going on. And Mourinho has asked Gini, to give it its best in these rehab sessions, because Mourinho's there and has actually said to Gini, I want you to come with us in the Japan tour, which is in around 2 months. 2 months for Gini to set everything back, to perform rehab really well, to just get that mentality back going, which he 100% lost achieving this injury. But Mourinho has said to Gini Wijnaldum that he wants him in Japan to train with the team and just to get back feeling that football vibe. So that is definitely something which we will look forward to. That is definitely something which will depend a lot. Which will depend a lot. Where is it? Anyways, let's keep this on. That is something which will depend a lot on Gini himself. It's something which will 80% depend on the doctors which are following Gini, and just on Gini himself. So I think right now what Gini needs to do is obviously perform rehab really well. But one thing which I think is very underestimated when it comes to these bad injuries is the mentality. Gini doesn't need to, obviously it's normal for him to feel down and all of that, but he needs to get that mentality back going, because he won't have a lot of time to convince Mourinho and Tego Pinto to buy him back from PSG and just to give a positive impact when he comes back. He's going to have February, which is going to be the month after this injury, so he will not realistically be performing really well. So the real months where Gini will try and perform really well are March, April and May. He's got 3 months to convince everyone. If that mentality isn't there, he will not perform. So it's important for him to get everything back going, to get his legs back going, and from when the World Cup ticks, Mourinho will discuss with him if he leaves for Japan and all of these things. But again, ladies and gentlemen, quick live stream today just to give you a quick update on Gini himself. Obviously very unlucky, but it is what it is. It's the football life. We're a very unlucky team when it comes to injuries. We've definitely discovered this. But yeah, if you haven't already, make sure to smash that subscribe button. Make sure to smash the like button in this live stream as well. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, or there in the orange box, over at Simon_AS_. And yeah, let's just hope he does well in his rehab phase. It's too early to say what he's going to look like on the pitch when he starts training regularly. I totally agree. It's very early to say that. All he needs to do right now is focus on his rehab, get that rehab back going, and get that leg brace off him as very bloody possibly soon as he can. But yeah, I mean, we've got a new week ahead of us tomorrow. So we will, start over the course of this week. We'll start focusing on the Inter game, and yeah, it's a very important game. It's a 6-pointer if you ask me, because it's fundamental. If we lose that match, bye Champions League. But yeah, very early to say so, but it's also very effective to say so. But yeah, I'll catch you soon. Simon out.